Hello people, how you doing? Yeah, wet, wet, wet. Bit different from last week, but great to see you again on the Common, Tooting Common. Fantastic to celebrate Black Lives Matter and think what we can do next with our positive and creative radical action. And I just want to do a shout out today for black women leaders, because you know we wouldn't be here, we would not be here today. Black Lives Matter wouldn't even exist as a global movement if it were not for those 3 brave women who set it up in 2013. And they were really amazing brave women. Patrice Cullors, Alicia Garza and Opal Tometi. They are the ones. They started this. In 2013, when Trayvon died, 17-year-old black man, he was innocent and his murderer was let off and he was not prosecuted. And I think this goes to show that black women activists around the world really can make a difference, because even 7 years later, we're still going with this movement. So I especially want to give a shout out for women leaders, but also for women workers all around the world today. COVID hit, come on, let's hear it for the women workers. And COVID hit the cleaners, the health workers, the shop assistants, the nurses really hard. And particularly black women and women of colour often are the lowest paid, they got the biggest pay gap, least secure, living in poverty, at risk from gender-based violence, and that is a really difficult situation to be in when COVID struck. So COVID has shown us that women essential workers are the ones that saved our lives at St George's. They care for us, they clean up for us, they do the child care and the elder care. And COVID has exposed those deep divisions, and that the people who do the most work the least, paid the least. So we know that the work that women do is essential but not valued. But on the other side of the scale, women's leadership has been absolutely crucial in COVID. The best performing countries around the world who have dealt with COVID the most successfully are all women. You know, the leaders of New Zealand and Germany and Taiwan. So women leadership is incredibly important, and women's work is incredibly important. So last week, some of you may remember I was here and I described a scene on, actually it was Clapham Common when I was 4 years old, and I was brought back up in a white neighbourhood. My dad had gone back to Ghana. I never saw a black person before until I saw this little 4-year-old kid on the Common, and that really changed my life, because prior to that I didn't have any role models growing up of people who look like me, women who look like me, little girls who look like me. So one of the people I most appreciated, being the only brown kid on the block, was a woman called Angela Davis. Anybody heard of Angela Davis? Yeah, I think you have. And she was one of my biggest role models. She was a black writer and activist in the 70s, and she campaigned all her life against race inequality and for gender justice. And in my book, The Space Between Black and White, which I told you about last week, I write about a magic moment when I first met her, and it was 1986. So, oh my God, I must have been about 4 and a half then. So I'll just read you a little bit from the book. So Angela was speaking at Hackney Town Hall at the time, and Angela brings the magic with her whenever she steps onto the platform. A prolonged, ecstatic standing ovation greets her, electrifying the room. she sounds as if she were incanting poetry, not political polemic, dissecting and intersecting race, class and gender in her inimitable, authoritative, mellifluous, lilting voice, calling for capitalism, prisons and housework to be abolished. What a wonderful world that would be. In the early hours of that morning, we found ourselves on the edge of the red light district in a first floor flat in King's Cross, drinking neat, high-proof Jamaican rum. Mia's friend Roy, our host, having run out of mixers. With the lights of King's Cross winking outside, there were just 7 of us in that dimly lit room. Roy and Mia and me, and Diane Abbott, and Janet Boateng, and Angela's partner. And we were listening enthralled to Angela expounding on the way that the white women's movement has ignored the struggles of black women and how you can't have feminism without getting rid of capitalism. Now there's a thought. Diane and Janet regaled us with tales of the trials of black women in UK politics, still the same today. All our struggles are inextricably mixed and linked. All are the consequences of the colonial legacy, and we've heard a lot about that with the tearing down of statues in the last few weeks, and patriarchy. Poverty, exploitation, racism, sexism, exclusion. They all need to go. So, I have to admit, yeah, that was 1986, 30 years ago or more. And I have to admit that I'm a little bit tired today because I stayed up until 1 o'clock this morning because I was listening to Angela Davis speaking live on the social media through the website of the WOW Festival. 24 hours of global feminism. What could be better than that? And it was live streamed for 24 hours. Don't worry if you slept through it and missed it, because it's still on your computer screens now. And Angela says that activists like us don't get bored in lockdown because we have all the skills we need as leaders. We've already been used to campaigning, active, been connecting with each other, collaborating each other all our lives. So we already know how to do this, and they are the fundamental skills of leadership. Empathy, connection, collaboration, not these bloody macho stuff like Boris and Trump and all those people. We are wanting collective leadership like the Wandsworth Black Lives Matter. So let's have a shout out for the people who do this for us every week. They are amazing. This is leadership in action. Fantastic. And people are doing amazing things because COVID came together with Black Lives Matter. At the same time, the whole world was locked down watching the murder of George Floyd on television. That was a big moment, a tragic moment, but a magic moment when the world woke up to this reality. And this, I don't think this has been seen, this moment, this magic moment, since the days that I used to be in the anti-apartheid movement. And we had black, white, people of colour all coming together to say enough is enough. Injustice doesn't work for anybody. And so we can actually come together right now in Tooting, all of us, to campaign for a better world. And we can start really small. I think that's one of the things that Angela Davis said last night. You can start small where you are today, and that's what we're doing. We can start with a campaign to pay our nurses and doctors and give them the respect and the working conditions that they deserve at St George's Hospital. We can campaign for anti-racism in schools, like we talked about Gravely School yesterday, but lots of schools have this problem. We have to deal with it. We have to deal with it now. Parents, children, whoever we are, teachers, we have to deal with it. And we can support black writers like me. Can we have a shout out for the black writers? Yeah, we're struggling as well. they stopped all our books and then they shut all the bookshops over COVID, so we haven't sold any. So that's a bit of a problem, but we're just opening up now, and what I'd like you to do is support independent bookshops and independent publishers and local writers who are telling our stories to change the world. For me, writing isn't literature, it's activism. I'm telling my story to change the world, and lots of us are. I'm very proud to be one of the 20 in 2020. Small publisher called Jacaranda pledged to publish 20 black writers in 2020 to show that we're out there. They didn't reckon on COVID, but we can beat COVID. We can go buy the books anyway. So look out for them. And just to say that Angela said that art and music and culture and fabulous fabrics are all part of making life beautiful. Handmade things made by local people. Go check out Pebbles there. She's made the most fantastic masks. Who knew that masks could be a fashion statement? You want to see. She's got some fabulous African fabrics there. And we need to support our black women entrepreneurs and all our local entrepreneurs in Tooting and Wandsworth. Don't go to Sainsbury's when you get out of here, when you go home. Don't go by Sainsbury's. Wait till tomorrow. Go to Tooting Market and buy some real food that's not wrapped in plastic. And go home and cook it, you know. This is a lifestyle thing. We don't have to just think, oh my God, what can we do? We've got horrible governments and they're tearing the world apart. We can actually do differently. We can actually beat this together as activists right here, right now, and build our own community. So don't let stuff get you down. We can make the future, so we can make it not terrible and worse than it is today. We can make the future fabulous and fun and good and beautiful and fair. Let's go do it. Thank you.